Hello, everyone. I'm Brad Hairston. Welcome to Transform Now.
And I'm Michael Marchuk.
And this is the weekly Pulse Check. And today we get to do this live and in person, which we've never done before after almost a year of doing Pulse Checks. But today, Michael and I are both at SS&C Technologies annual customer event called Deliver in Phoenix. And it's been a great couple days.
Great conference. I'm glad we were able to make it here. And this is a really good opportunity for us to kind of bring stuff to you live here from the conference.
That's right. But we're not here to talk about the conference. We're here to talk about
we got some news to talk about.
That's right. So let's dive right in. So, Michael, the first article to talk about is from Yahoo Finance. Microsoft and OpenAI agree to a new for-profit deal. Windows Maker gets a 27% stake. So this is pretty big news, and this is only
market moving news.
Yeah, this is about 10 hours old. So this article,
when we're recording, obviously when you listen to this, it could be a lot older.
That's right. So, but 10 hours from this moment right here, this article came out, and Microsoft, as you know, has been one of the biggest roadblocks to OpenAI's plan to become a for-profit.
Right.
And they've been hashing it out for weeks and weeks and weeks. And now this agreement seems to pave the way for that to happen. So what's your take on this article?
Well, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall during some of those negotiations because I'm sure they were very interesting. But what I thought was really interesting about it is that OpenAI is allowing to have 27%, which is about the same stake that their nonprofit owns in the for-profit version of OpenAI. So that's pretty important by itself. The second is the duration of time they get access to OpenAI's technology, going to 2032. And that's pretty significant by itself because it truly extends it even further. And when it becomes AGI, then they still get access after that too. So it's a big deal. So once it becomes sentient, Microsoft will still have access. I guess that's the way I want to put it that way. So.
That's right. Yeah. Now it's also interesting to note that Microsoft no longer will have the first right of refusal for OpenAI on the cloud side.
Right. But they're not crying though. They had a pretty decent deal that was embedded in that announcement too. So
you mean the $250 billion contract?
That's the one.
That's right.
The one. So they're not really. It's not going to hurt them too badly.
Quite a nice consolation.
Yes, it is. It is.
Now Microsoft is now allowed to pursue its own AGI. That was something that was prohibited under the original.
Clippy?
It's not Clippy.
Okay.
If Clippy is AGI, we're all doomed. We should just back it up right now. So, well, Michael, I think you would agree. I think both sides got something out of this.
They did.
I think the one doing the backflips is Sam Altman, though, because he has. This has been a thorn in his side, trying to get Microsoft to agree
transition,
and get out of the way, basically, and allow them to become a for-profit. So, Sam is clearly happy. He also gets to continue doing a lot of work with Oracle on the cloud side, and SoftBank and all these other billionaire companies. So,
now, what needs to be seen is whether or not being a for-profit company actually allows them to generate profit, because right now they are bleeding money like there's no tomorrow. So, but we all know that once that AGI appears, they'll be profitable.
Yes, it may be 5-6 years away, but
it may be 5 years away, and it'll be profitable for about the first 25 seconds when it realizes that humanity's a threat and ends us all. But anyway,
when Skynet is finally operational. All right, let's move on to the second article. This is from CNBC.
All right.
This is a bit of a downer. This one is titled "Amazon to announce its largest layoffs in company history." So, according to CNBC, Amazon is preparing. They haven't done it yet, or at least as of right now. They are preparing to announce layoffs of 30,000 staffers across their corporate workforce, across every line of business. So what do you think about this one?
Well, losing jobs is never a great story to report on, honestly. But this is in line with what we've seen from a bunch of other tech companies too. I mean, I think year to date, there's been close to 98,000 layoffs already. And it's not where we were in 2023, which was a holy banner year of like 225,000, 230, wherever the number was. It was massive. So we're seeing a lot of these layoffs from these tech companies now. Not all of them are AI related or robotics related or automation related.
Right.
This one might be, but a lot of them, we've had other layoffs in these industries where they're just not making money. So they got to figure out a way to lean things up. But in this case here, it shouldn't surprise anybody, given the fact that within their warehouses, they are uber, automated.
Yeah.
So taking that into their corporate world is something good. The other thing too, to kind of put in perspective, is that I think Amazon's the second largest
private employer.
Yeah. Well, behind the government, who employs billions of people, although they're not really paying them right now. Anyway, they're second largest private employer in the country, and where's it, the world?
In the world. And,
so,
and that accounts for 1.54 million.
I'm glad you had that number at hand.
It's right here in the article.
You're reading the article. I got nothing. Anyway.
Yeah. So it is kind of hard to, pin them up against the wall and hold them accountable.
It's a small
for
percentage.
laying off 30,000 of 1.54 million.
But it's still a lot of jobs and a lot of people who are being impacted, and all the families and whatnot. So it is a big deal regardless, because layoffs are layoffs, and that's just no fun.
They're no fun. And as of Monday, more than 200 tech companies have laid off a 98,000 employees since the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And that's before what Amazon is talking about doing. So there's more of this to come, most likely. And then the question becomes, okay, have they automated away a portion of their own workforce by virtue of all the investment in AI and automation?
It's potential. I think this comes back to what we've been talking about for a while, that while some jobs will be more disproportionately affected, there'll be other new roles that open up that are absolutely required. Like if you're doing automation, who's going to manage it? Who's going to oversee it? Who's going to train it? Who's going to, upgrade it? All the things that go along with implementing something like that. So it's a transition of sorts. The challenge is that second stage, skills are scarce, right? We can't find people to jump into those roles tomorrow. So maybe between all of the other folks got laid off earlier in the year, they'll find some good jobs at Amazon who are taking into these automation roles. But
very possible. Okay, moving on to our third article. This is from Tech Funding News. It's titled, "After Rejecting Adobe's $3 billion offer, Synthesia plans a new round with NVIDIA's Jensen, Huang." So this is the London-based AI startup Synthesia. They are a text to video company. Apparently very impressive. I haven't played with it. I
know you played with HeyGen and some of the other ones.
Exactly. I loved it. But this company has developed such a following. They're already, let me find the number here. They're already 100 million in annual recurring revenue.
Right. So they're making money.
That's pretty good for an AI startup.
Making money.
They've raised 180 million in investor funding, and they're valued at 2.1 billion. But this, Adobe comes along, offers them 3 billion. They say, nah, that's okay. We think we have bigger things ahead. So now they are preparing to announce a new funding round that values the company at roughly the same
$3 billion.
At $3 billion.
Right.
And it's one other very positive sign. NVIDIA's CEO is behind it and most likely investing quite a bit into it. So what do you think about the Synthesia success story? I mean, we hear about a lot of AI companies. I think there's like 20,000 or something AI startups. Synthesia seems to be a bright, shining star in the sky of AI.
Making money is a good thing.
It is.
Having revenue, having customers that actually pay you is a fantastic thing. That's been a good place to start. Not sure about their profitability at this point. Because they're private. We're not really sure how they're doing there. But the idea that they're having such interest from other organizations saying, we appreciate that technology, we'd like a piece of that, or in fact, we just like to take it on ourselves because we like it so much. So that's definitely a good nod, especially from NVIDIA, to be able to go down the path. It is kind of curious, though, that if you were to get the $3 billion up front for your organization versus taking another round of funding that puts you at the same valuation, I'm not really sure their thought process on that, unless they have some grand plans to be $100 billion company or whatever it's going to be. And maybe that extra funding will help them get there. But to me, that's like one of those like bird in hand, you in the bush kind of thing. Like, do I take the cash now? Because I mean, they didn't have that many founders. So I'm guessing the money's going to get spread pretty wealthily there. So
interesting thing I think about Synthesia is it's not just the ability to, input a prompt and it creates a video, but this idea of a AI developed, avatar,
right,
which a lot of businesses are starting to take advantage of. And Synthesia has really made a name for themselves by combining neural rendering with strict ethical controls. So every avatar that's modeled after a real person has to have explicit consent. They have a governance framework around it. They control the privacy. They have designed it for enterprise grade data security. So they've gone out of their way to not just have a great avatar, because there's lots of companies that give you an avatar, but to have something that companies can trust in and they can put their faith in. I talked with one of our partners from Blue Prism earlier this year. I think it was earlier this year, maybe late last year. But they have partnered with Synthesia and they have developed an AI agent that gets used in their customers to help them with knowledge management and so forth. And they said Synthesia was like a game changer for them because they had tried to use other avatars. They weren't that good. They're finding a lot of their clients are starting to use their CEO as the avatar. It must be pretty good if the CEO is buying off on it. So yeah, I think it's an interesting story overall that they turned down $3 billion. Sounds like maybe they see a path to even higher.
They must see a much brighter path ahead. Good for them. Again, they've got customers and they're paying them. And so maybe they do see a bigger payout at the other end of the day.
Absolutely. Okay. Fourth and final piece.
Fourth one.
This is from Harvard Business Review. It's titled Designing a Successful Agentic AI System. Now, this is a very timely piece with us here at Deliver.
This conference, exactly.
What's been the number one topic of Deliver? It's been agentic AI. And you and I, several times have talked about as we talked with, lots of different customers, and there's even some prospects here, and we talked to them about agentic AI, and a lot of them are like, hey, we're just using traditional automation, RPA, maybe we're using business process management. And they're struggling with this question of, first of all, what is agentic AI? And then secondly, when will I need it?
How do I get started in this thing?
Yeah. I mean, should I need it? Should I desire it?
You need it.
I need it. I need
it.
1,000 agents just to keep me in check. But that seems to be a pervasive question. So this article, this piece from HBR actually came out last week, but I thought it would be a good one for us to talk about here. I didn't realize just how relevant it would be to the dialogue we're having. So what do you think about the way it addresses that overarching question that we've been hearing while here at Deliver?
Well, there's a couple ways around it. So the idea that the automation trajectory has gone to agentic has put a lot of people in a position of, well, how do I do that from where I'm standing right now? That whole starting, where do I start perspective. And actually, when you mentioned what is it, we know agents are a collaboration of technologies that create an outcome, kind of like Synthesia. What is it? I'm sure there's all kinds of magic behind the scenes here, but the reality is that this is the output is what they're looking for. So when we talk about agents and the activities that they're doing really requires you to understand, well, what are your outcomes you're trying to accomplish to start with? And then that can work its way backwards. When I talked with a customer today, about what they're doing and how to get started on this, the first thing I said, well, the best way to get started is to look at your KPIs. What are you trying to do to improve in your organization to start with? Start with that first, because I guarantee there's something, whether it's customer success, whether it's your profitability, there's some KPIs that you're looking at to really address. Start there, and then look at the processes that contribute to that particular KPI, and then work back to understand those processes, which most companies don't really understand all that well. So there's a lot of different ways to approach that. But what were your thoughts on that?
I mean, to me, just the way they defined agentic AI was pretty profound. The way they said, okay, if you require autonomous coordination across complex multi-step workflows, agentic is what you need. They said, in other words, any scenario, any business process that involves ongoing learning, judgment, adaptation, it's not suited for just basic kind of rule-based processing.
You know what? There's another technology I've heard of will do that.
RPA, brother. And so it went on to mention a few other ways to think about, okay, is this something where I need agentic?
Right.
Dynamic decision-making, context awareness.
Absolutely.
If context matters, that's a big deal. That's something that is not well suited for deterministic automation.
Right.
And also, the article, I love the fact that they gave some advice. There were three authors to this piece, but they gave advice on how to do agentic correctly. Focus on outcomes.
Yep.
I know you're big on outcomes. Assign clear ownership of the mission and the outcomes. Break down the data silos, because you got to make sure the data is accurate and you're getting the right data at the right place at the right time. Reorganize your operations and your governance.
That's a hot button for me.
I know that's a hot button. And I think too many companies are thinking, oh, I'll just slap in agentic and everything will be the same. Not at all true.
Nope.
You have to reorganize. You have to change the way you operate. There's too many organizational silos that go away when agentic comes into play.
Exactly.
And then the final one, which I also like, develop leaders and guardrails for intelligent autonomy. We need to cultivate leaders who understand how to work with these agentic systems. I mean, if we have people that maybe understand it at a high level, but they don't understand how it really impacts their organization, how it's changing the game,
these are visionary leaders too, because there's one thing to say, well, I understand the idea behind it, but I'm not really sure how to take my organization and bring that into the next level. If I had people, I could see it pretty clear, forward. But when you start taking this technology, which has extreme capabilities, how do you take that to the next level where you're not really understanding all of its capabilities? And right now, those capabilities are at one level, and tomorrow they're going to be at another level. The day after that, I mean, seriously, these are the capabilities continue to grow exponentially. So taking a leader who understands that I'm working with a fluid technology that has amazing capabilities, but requires a whole lot of governance, and some people that actually watch it, understand what it is. But those leaders are the key to this all, because with leadership that is able to drive that forward, their organization will naturally change. Hey, these are the things we want to get done here. Instead of cross-functional teams, you're going to have a team that does multiple things. And I think that's going to be really important, because some of those silos, organizational silos, have been somewhat artificial. Sometimes there's extreme domain expertise. Hey, we're in the finance department. We're in the tax group in the finance department. They have very deep expertise in a specific thing. It's very unlikely that the sales team in that company would be able to support them, right? So, but if they're on the same team, that tax department can also reflect pricing and sales management approaches that could affect the way the company pays taxes, the way the clients pay taxes, the way so it does kind of all fit together, but it requires somebody who can think that far ahead to put those pieces in place. So not everybody's like that.
It's a whole new world.
Sure is.
It is. So that's all the time we have for this pulse check, and it's been fun doing this one together. We'll
in person,
homage to SS&C.
In person, it's been good.
But hey, check out our other podcast that we publish every week with a great guest. Thanks for being with us. Bye for now.